You ready to start yapping?
Yes.
Let's get it. Do you think that was good? Okay, I think it's gonna be good. I'm excited. Yeah!
Episode 4.
4-piece. What's good, y'all? Welcome to the Jami
And AJ.
podcast. YAPpin. Welcome to YAPpin, you guys.
Hi, guys.
It's been a minute. It's April. Is this even real? April Fools. I don't even know.
It's too late for April Fools.
Yeah, we got a more laid back, like, kind of setup this time. It's definitely not April 1st, so.
I know, right? It's like mid. It's like early April still, but yeah.
Yeah, we're going to try this setup. I think this is more laid back, more chill. Obviously, we're trying to be careful of, like, using the mics and doing, like crazy stuff like that. But we'll see. I think this feels better.
Yeah.
Already. But yeah, obviously, as you can see, y'all, I got Jami's dating a blondie now. Blonde boy. Nah, not dating. Well, dating, but married to a blonde boy now. So how do you like it? How do you like my hair?
At first, when he dyed his hair, I was like, oh my gosh, this looks, like when I'm used to our whole relationship having black hair. And then I was like, whoa. So it's not like a platinum blonde. It's like, it kind of has like, I don't want to say a green hue, but like at first I was like, it kind of has this green like undertone. But now as it's like faded and stuff, it looks like, I can't describe it, but it looks good. I'm more used to it now. I like it. So I was like, it's a good thing to try.
Yeah, for sure. I just wanted to do it. I feel like I've never done it before in my life. I had like crazy times of like having my hair from like super long to like super short. And I was like, bro, I've never dyed my hair. So I was going to try it. And it was really light before this. Now it's kind of like my roots are growing in. So we'll see, man.
I know, you're so experiment. I've never really dyed my hair, but I don't know. It's just girl hair is so much more expensive. Like, I feel like to be a guy, it's so much easier to like change your look.
That's real.
Like, it's cheaper. But for a girl, it's like, one, it's a big investment because if I don't like this, I have a lot of hair. And then two,
she already tapping, y'all.
I know I'm messing up the mic.
That's
but
okay,
like,
okay. I'm just kidding.
What did I say? It's a big investment and it's like scary because if you don't like it, like it's a big part of you. I don't know.
It's going to take a minute to grow back.
Or you have to go back and get it fixed.
Yeah.
I'm just gonna, for the most part, I try to enjoy what God's given me. I will get braids and do stuff like that, but I already know I'm gonna look good with that. So,
Heard that. Aren't you getting your hair done here soon?
Yeah, but it's just like a trim, and then like she's just gonna like coil my hair. Like she's just gonna style it. So it's just really like a trim, wash my hair, and style. So kind of my regular hair, nothing new.
Yeah. I mean, speaking of hair, we're going to be talking about hair. Just kidding. We're not about to talk about no hair. I don't know why we talked about hair so long. But it's because my hair, y'all, I mean, I look like Juntao from Rush Hour. At first, my hair was a little shorter. And, bro, everybody's like, bro, you look like a K-pop star, bro.
Yeah.
Like, you look like you're Korean.
You look like a Japanese.
You look like a Korean dad, like K-pop star,
Korean
Japanese, Juntao from Rush Hour. Maybe I'll edit a little picture right here of Juntao.
Okay.
I don't even think that's his name, but we just say Juntao. I mean, the people that watch the movie. But anyway.
I wonder what that means.
This is not going to be forever, but bro, it looks cool. I mean, it's alright. But yeah, all that to say, you guys, episode 4, we're here, yapping. And we wanted to take a couple minutes of time before we dive straight into it to just chop it up about this idea of cultivating fruitful conversations. And so the reason why we brought this up is because like when we first started yapping, we wanted to like redeem this idea, the word yapping. Like when you hear somebody just yap, they're just talking about all their opinions, inputs, whatever, just everything that has to do with just yapping. And we wanted to make that, yes, like we wanted to talk, we wanted to be able to give our just like our input, like golden nuggets, things that we know, just whatever that might be, but not in the way of like just yapping in terms of like having a black and white, just talking and not listening, not having a conversation, just always on the one side of just talking and then not being humble to listen, not being humble enough to hear that. And so basically what we are thinking of is just like holding, I feel like we just say this a lot, it's just like holding tension, kind of like a gray area, not a black or white thing, because really like for us specifically, like walking with the Lord, it's not like a black and white always situation unless stated like in the truth, like in the Bible, then yeah. But there's so much like nuance and different gray area that comes with
just going through life.
Exactly, like tension. And so
or just like things we're going through, because we're not none of us are perfect. So it's like, well, for us, like what we sharing our testimonies and how we navigate things definitely is like, okay, well, I used to like I was like this, but now I'm in this middle area, but I'm trying to be here. And it's just like talking about our journey.
I mean, even then, like we're never gonna get there.
I know, right? It's like,
that's the thing, like
we can set this standard, but like God is, who knows where our life will actually go.
Yeah, I heard on another like last podcast there was like talking about, I think it was Will Smith, he was talking about, oh yeah, once he reaches one top of the mountain, there's always another mountain to look up to that you're like, I want to reach the next thing. And it's like kind of dwelling in the gray area, dwelling in the middle, the from what somebody called me is like the long dark in between. It's not the mountaintop experience, it's not necessarily the desert, but it's like the in between is like you get to enjoy, like you just get to be present in the moment. And so like I feel like that's majority of life is like you're not gonna always
be at that I made it. You're always in the in between.
Like you're gonna have times of highs and lows,
but the in between's like the biggest part of our life.
Yeah, just like that part. And so that's what we want to do, is literally just cultivate conversation. Like for us, this is a great time for us to be, I mean, we talk all the time, but like for us to be able to just talk, and Jami and I are very different. Like, yes, like in the best way possible. Like
it's funny how the word says like when you get married, like we're two different people, but then we become one. Like we're still so different, even though we've been married for like almost 5 years. Like different, but I think it's like an asset.
Oh yeah,
it's still an asset, but it's so funny. You learn how to embrace it. You're like, wow. So
because you could either like be like negative about it, but we embrace it. Like we want to embrace like us thinking different. Because if we just thought the same, there's like life would be so,
we'll be failing.
It would be so boring, or it would be just fight every day because we're always the same. But like now, and not that we don't get into like arguments or things, but we just say like we embrace, like that's the tension that we hold, right? Like that's the gray area, is embracing that we're both different, and there's times where we have to hold tension. And so that's why we have to communicate and have conversation instead of just going with whatever. Like just like, oh, okay, you believe that way, I believe this way, let's not, cool. Like we still come together. Yeah. So yeah, y'all. So we encourage y'all, cultivate conversation. Like we want you guys to talk about these things that we're talking about. Disagree, agree. This is just where we're at. This is just our input. You know, we're not saying that we got it all together. Like this is not the podcast. Like if you're looking for crazy wisdom and knowledge, we'll put y'all on to those people that have been through it. For us, we're just kind of already just in that in between, that building phase. So we're just talking about what we know now, and sharing. Stuff might be changing later. But that's the beauty of the gray area. That's the beauty of cultivating conversation. All right. So yeah, I think that's good.
I think that's good. Yeah. I hope for people like listening and stuff. I mean, it's kind of like we're trying to figure out like our niche, we want to say, is cultivating conversations. And like you said, the gray, like just the in between of things is what we wanted. Like we're just a couple talking about that. And obviously like what we depend on is the Lord. So a lot of it is centered around like, how does the Lord like get us through our daily lives and like these topics and conversate like things we talk about, like a lot of it is it's going to be centered on like the Lord and just what we've been through in our lives and the word. And yeah.
Yeah, 100%.
So
I feel like
it's just powerful.
it is. And that's the thing is weird is like people might think like, oh, you then you have a bias. You're not in the gray area because you believe that something is black and white. Well, yeah, the thing about it is like God is literally the epitome of almost the gray area of like he's 100% God, 100% man. That's who Jesus was. He was able to be 100% truth, 100% love. And the reason why we get so like, I feel like we want black and white is because we're uncomfortable with the fact that we can't perfectly do both, which Jesus exemplified perfectly both. And so that's just us is just trying to hold that tension and just stay in faith of the Lord. I mean, like, speaking of that, we're actually going to be reading a verse, the verse of the pod, the vat. Jamie doesn't want to say it.
The verse of the pod.
The verse of the pod. VOTP, the vatapa. But we're going to be reading that. And it is almost like, I guess, the principle of it. I mean, contextually, it's 1 Corinthians 6:12. Contextually, it's talking about avoiding sexual sin, you know, that our bodies belong to God. So, like, but in that, and we'll read the verse, we'll talk more about it, but the principle of it is like, could literally go for anything. Like, it like matches that idea of the gray area, right? The long dark in between, the matter of black and white 100% together, like working together. And so, yeah, did you want to read it? Yeah,
I'll read it.
All right, bet.
So it's 1 Corinthians chapter 6 verse 12. So it says, and this is Paul talking. It says, "You say I am allowed to do anything, but not everything is good for you. And even though I am allowed to do anything, I must not become a slave to anything."
Fire.
Yeah, I'm like, I forgot. We were like, you know how you can use the Bible app and search? That's how we found this verse. And then we read it. We're like, okay, it's actually like specifically talking about sexual sin. But yeah, it was like, you can do anything, but is doing it going to be good for you?
That's the gray area. It's literally saying
like too much of anything.
You could do anything, but is everything good for you? It's like asking you like, okay, yeah, I can't be black or white. Like, yeah, I can do anything I want, but is everything, it's like, it's begging the question, the principle of the gray area, like the tension. And so in reading that, we're talking specifically today about social media. So we're not going to be talking about like sexual morality, sexual sin in this context, but the principle of what we just read for the gray area is the tension of social media. The tension of social media. So the gray area of social media, which we understand, we'll see one side is like good, one side is bad, but there's more to talk about than just it's so totally bad or it's so totally good. It's always a little bit of both.
Yeah.
So, did you want to talk about the idea of like the matters versus kind of like what matters versus what's relevant as we talk about this real quick?
What matters versus what is relevant? Yeah,
we talked about it earlier. Or do you want me to just...
I think the way you put it was like, I would need to literally read it. Like, it's so good what you wrote.
I got you. Let me... Hey, y'all cannot... Do not... Y'all, this is my...
Do not
quote.
Steal this.
Don't steal this, bro. Don't be weird. Don't be weird. Y'all give me my credit at least. Here you go.
Okay, I will read it. So, okay... Little context. We've been going over the book of Daniel in church, so this is where you got this from.
Yes.
And I'll let you explain. But AJ's quote is do what matters to stay relevant. But if you do what's relevant, time will tell and it won't matter. So what did you mean when you wrote this? Or what were you reading about Daniel?
Yeah, so when we read Daniel, like Daniel at the time when I read this was in chapter 9. Yeah, chapter 7, I'm tripping. And this is where he's in the lion's den. But like when he's in the lion's den, Daniel, in Babylonian like exile and captivity, he's still as a quote unquote being in exile to Babylon as a Hebrew, he's technically seen as a slave, right? Like you're enslaved to another nation. But the crazy thing is he's holding like a high position, like among nobles and kings and like people in like among like the most knowledgeable people. He's still like seen because of God. He's seen as the one that the king goes to, and not just one king that had a bias, but like throughout his whole entire lifetime and like up to his like old age and the time that he's in the lion's den. He's held such a high position as a Hebrew slave guy between 2 to 3 different Babylonian kings, which is wild. And so the reason why I said that is like in like kind of like a roundabout way back to what we're going to be talking about on social media is he didn't do what was relevant to stay relevant, right? He did what mattered.
He wasn't posting what everyone else was posting.
Yeah, he's not like in his old age trying to stay relevant or trying to stay like oh, I'm still a good noble. Like no, he did what mattered in God's eyes to stay relevant. But instead of holding it to where, oh, if I try to stay relevant, then everything I'm going to do is not going to matter anymore. And so like for today, when we talk about social media, we're not just, like we're talking about something that is just popping, relevant, like mental health on like social media and the things that come with social media, like the negatives and the positives. But we want to talk more about like what is really matter, like what really matters, which is the gray area between social media, the 100% of both the goods and the bads of it. And just talking about the things that matter with social media, not so much like all these different, like, I don't know, like, what's it called? Like clickbait. Everybody else is talking about the same thing. Like you might be surprised about the takes that we did in comparison and like in line with the principle of the verse that we read in 1 Corinthians. And so, yeah, talk about what matters, not what's relevant, so you can stay mattering. I guess I don't even know what I'm saying.
Stay mattering.
I have to read my own quote anyway. But yeah, so first question then for social media, like for you, baby, like what are like the goods and the bads? Like give maybe like 2 goods and 2 bads of social media for you.
Ooh, okay. Well, for me, I guess 2 goods is you can share your life with people. And I feel like you can learn a lot on social media. There's a lot. Like there's so many food videos I watch.
Fire.
I'm like, oh, okay, I'm gonna make this.
Yeah.
I'm not actually a big poster like of my life. I really want to get better at that, but like I like looking at my family and my friends' lives. And then yeah, like the things I can learn, like, oh, did you know there's this hack and there's this way to cook this? So yeah, I would say bad things is also I can just, for me, it's distracting. Like I'm on there to look at my family and friends' lives, but I made a note earlier this week or last week. I said, why do I see all these posts? Like, I'm pretty sure you can change your settings or something in your app, but I said, why does Instagram barely show people I follow? Like it starts like when I'm on my feed, like it's posts that would catch my attention, so that's why I'm still scrolling. But then I was like, why are most of these people like people I don't even like follow? I'm like, what is my social media doing? And it's just like distracting me, pulling me more and more like in and taking my time. Yeah. So I don't know. It's a distraction and it eats up your time.
100%.
For me.
So it's like those are both really valid sides, like good and bad.
Yeah.
You know, and give like a context too of like how often are you on social media? Like, because we're both different.
Yeah, we both have different like limits and stuff.
Limits, disciplines, boundaries with social media. What's
so
yours?
For me, my social media is so I have like settings on my phone where I can only be on pretty much like all my apps for 30 minutes a day. So I have Facebook, Instagram, Snapchat, which Snapchat I only use for like memories. Yeah. Like I was like, oh, what were we doing 5 years ago? It was COVID-ish. So, and then YouTube, Pinterest, And that's my socials right now I have. So I would say Facebook, Instagram, and YouTube probably take up most of my time. But I am only 30 minutes a day on each of them. And then I don't have the password. So like once I lock out, like AJ's the only person that knows it. So, and I mean, if I want more time, I'm just like, hey, I need to find something, like he'll unlock it. But if I'm at work, it's like,
dang.
I'm like,
use your time wisely.
I was like, whoa, I haven't been working.
I was hoping I clicked the right one. That was good.
No, it must have not been busy at work. But one time I remember, like, I still had TikTok on my phone. This is just a little side piece. But there was like this meme. There was this one like trend going on. It was like, near, 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 near. And me and my it was like this coworker, like I got close with her, I think this day, but I was like, dude, I don't know why this video is cracking me up. And then I showed it to her, and then she started showing me some, and we were like going back and forth, and then all of a sudden my TikTok locked out, and I was like,
that's embarrassing.
I was like, bruh.
Hey, that's actually not embarrassing. That's pretty good. Like, you're like, dang, that's an adult thing to have.
I was like, wow. I was like, well, I'll look at more later. But yeah, I think, I don't know. It was a good thing because it's like, yeah, I don't need to be on my phone too much.
Yeah, 100%.
To distract me more.
Yeah.
But what about you? What are your limits? Like, what do you do? What's your relationship like with social media?
Yeah, I'll get into that, and then also get into like the two positives and negatives too. Yeah, for me, I feel like social media, I'm definitely opposite of you. I don't even, it kept declining more and more as I've like realized that I'm just like I'm a very weak,
like your testimony.
Yeah, my testimony good. Of just like I'm a weaker, like in this season of life, I feel like in my early 20s, like in my 20s, I can't even say early 20s no more, but in my 20s as a young man, like I'm just a weaker, like I feel like I have an addictive personality. I can get really caught up with something so fast and it not feel like hours, but it really was hours and just wasting time. And just like struggle with like comparison and with lust and things like that. Then I'm like, man, I can't even be in the face of social media like right now. Like, so for me, my disciplines and boundaries that I have with social media is I don't even have any social media on my phone except Laps. Shout out to Laps. That's it. Like, I don't have Instagram, Facebook, YouTube, TikTok, nothing on my phone right now. And again, like it declined. It used to be 30 minutes. It used to be an hour a day, 30 minutes a day, 15 minutes a day, 1 minute a day. I was like, just forget it. It's just like, take the it's app meaningless. Off your phone. So I took it off my phone. I can access it on my computer, but even on my computer, like on the apps, like you are able to track on the browser when I'm on social media too. I'm very vocal about it too. I let you know, like when I'm on social media, just because of the struggles of like comparison and lust and things like that I struggle with, of like, I can't be in the face of social media. And so I literally am just on social media like when I am around you, or like I set the boundary of like if I'm working, I don't touch social media until like the evening or check on something, or if I want to post, that's why I have access on my computer. And I just feel like social media for me, and this is where we'll even talk about like how this goes into like the verse and what it might mean different things for both of us, but still that gray area is just like how for me, I'm like, I just don't even play. Like I don't straddle the line because I know I struggle. I have to be not too hard on myself, but definitely have to be held to a standard of discipline because I just know myself to take advantage of things, push the boundaries and lines more and more. So I have to keep it strict, because I know my heart and my mind it just gets full of just really like a downward spiral of like negative thoughts, sinful thoughts, temptation. And that doesn't just mean that like when we talk about like, it's not just like lustful things, it's like comparison of like people where they're at in life.
Be like, bruh, my content's not as good as their
yeah,
content.
like, man, they are so good. Why would I ever create content, especially as like a person that wants to create
content,
like stuff and posts like that? And I'm just like, man, like, oh, they're doing so much better, or man, they look better than me, or like they're more in shape than I am, or look at this person, like he makes more money than me, it seems like, and I'm just like, man, it just turns into a downward spiral. So, and even then, like even going into like the positives and the negatives, I agree with you. Like, I think social media is awesome because it makes our world smaller. So we get to connect with a bunch of people and network with a bunch of people like from everywhere. Like it's not so much like, I think about when I cook food back then. Now you can, like, it's so hard to like, oh my gosh, I need my mom's recipe. 100% my mom's recipe is the best for Filipino food. But man, I could pull up a recipe, and I can pull up a video, and it has all of like the ingredient like measurements and everything, and I'm like, dang, like I'm a simple guy, but I can make this food that I really love. And like even now, somebody Joe Schmo from like freaking Nebraska, if he really wanted to cook Filipino food, he could do it. I mean, he might have a limitation of ingredients, right? That's tough.
If they don't have it in their area.
Yeah, I don't know. I chose Nebraska. Shout out to Chris.
If they have an Asian
market or something. But all that to say, it's like, I think that's a beautiful thing, is it makes the world smaller. But again, that I already touched on it too. The negative things is just like comparison, just like your analytics and your feed for. It's just specific apps.
Makes me so mad.
Like Facebook, it's like, bro, I see posts. I want to see fewer of these posts. They still feed you like really bad stuff that like maybe a young man in his 20s or teens wants. Like, they think this is what it caters to see. Even if you say fewer posts like that, it keeps showing you that stuff, and it's like, bro, you just don't listen. Like,
I know. I'm like, why is there so much like sexual
like just trash stuff
on social media? Like, I be getting messages from people. I'm like,
yeah.
It's just like, there's also that there's a dark side to everything.
Oh yeah, so, literally to everything. And that's where it goes into the verse. And so like all that said, like for you, what do you feel like how this verse, with everything you talked about with social media and your relationship to it right now, and like how much your capacity on it, how does this relate to you, and like the tension that you hold with social media?
Yeah, so the verse, it was 1 Corinthians chapter 6 verse 12. So like, I am allowed to do anything. Like, isn't it crazy how like God's given us, like, we just talked about the good and the bad. So social media isn't totally bad, because I mean, exactly, it's not. I use awesome. It's like there's so many good parts to it. And yeah, for me, like, I think it's so cool how like we have that free will. Like, I am allowed to do anything. So yeah, for me, I'm like, I can be on social media, but I also like, but not everything is good for you. So like, too much of anything isn't good for you. So, and even though I am allowed to do anything, I must not become a slave to anything. So I think the last part is what stood out to me. So the first part, like, it is crazy. Like, it's so cool how God gives us free will. Like, we can do anything, but it doesn't mean everything that we do in this life is good for us. And you know, you learn that through life and experience, and also like from your like testimony, like you said, like you just know, like, yourself, like, I can't even have social media on my phone, because you know, like, there's just so much that's thrown out to you that's like, this is just distracting, this is just not what I want in my life. But I've definitely had moments too, like, I'm not perfect, but like, so if I didn't have any limitations, like, and I don't know, it's just like a conviction for me. Like, maybe some people are cool with being on social media all day, but for me, it's like, I need those limits. Yeah. Because too much of anything.
You're so kind.
Like, I must not become a slave to anything. Like, I don't want to become a slave to social media, because there's so many valuable things in this life that I don't want to miss out on. And I think that's where, for me, like, I'm like in this, oh my gosh, like, I'm wasting my time. And that's what scares me, is like, oh my gosh, I don't want to waste too much time on my phone. looking at things that aren't important. I want to look at the things that are important, and I want to spend time and be intentional with people. And you know, when I'm watching recipe videos, like, oh, I want to actually make these recipes. Like, I don't want to just like I don't know, social media is it's a great place to like get ideas, but you can get so many things thrown at you, you just end up doing nothing with it. So
yeah.
I don't know, it's like you can like something a lot, but you can say, oh my gosh, I want to do this, and then you never do it.
Okay, not me all the time, but I feel like I do that though.
It's just relatable.
It's relatable.
But yeah, that last part, like, so convicting. I must not become a slave to anything. I do not want to become a slave to social media. And I'm like, it's just scary. But
yeah,
it's just time. There's only so much time we have.
Yeah, and why waste it on like watching other people's lives or like what everybody else got going on when you got to be present, you know? Like, no, I love that. Like, and I love like what you said about it being a personal conviction, because that's also the gray area. Like, there's obviously like, and that's in itself another multiverse gray area in some way, is like there is 100% black and white like things, especially in what as like a like as a man who has Jesus at the center like of my life, and that tension of continuing to recenter my life every day on him. It's like, yes, there's things that are black and white, like just super you do this, the consequence is this is what's gonna happen, right? And at the same time, while that is true, there's like a lot of things that is not as black and white in terms of cause and effect. And when it comes to like, I love what you said about your personal conviction, because there's convictions that are 100% like truth and love, and like that is what it is. And then for this is like, this is one God's like,
God doesn't have a verse on social media, but there's so many, like this verse is like a great, something you can definitely apply.
Exactly. And that's the thing about like, I feel like black and white issues cultivate black and white answers. It's a cop out. It's easy. You don't need faith. You don't need to self-reflect and ask God and continue to daily trust in him when you have black and white issues of like, that's bad, I'm just not going to do it. Versus like, oh, this is a gray area. Like, this is like even with any sin, like sin is so bad, yet why do we struggle with it? Because it feels good in some sense. But then there's a deeper root inside of you of why you do the action. But then, that's another thing. But going back to like that is like the personal conviction is like, is like, yeah, that the idea of for you, it's different because you reflect with God and yourself. Because God knows you more than you do. And you're the second person to know yourself more than anybody else. And it's just like, okay. It's like, I love that verse for me because I'm like, man, like I have to ask myself daily. There's times where I feel good. I can be on social media and be fine. But most days I'm like, this is what it does to me. And I'm not going to sit here and continue to like treat it as if like there's not a gray area where I have to. I think that's what the verse is asking is like, yes, you can do everything. And then are you okay? Okay, cool. I can do anything. But it says, but is everything good for you? Which then it asks you the question inside your heart. Do you ask yourself every day, but is this going to be good for me?
How is this going to benefit
is this going to benefit me? And then the idea of like being in bondage to something, it's like when you said, oh, well, you know, some people might be good to be on social media all day. Okay, I personally think if you're on social media all day, that kind of just shows the fruit of your life of like, there might be something deeper that you're not addressing if you're on another person's feed all day. Like you're just looking at everything to distract you all day. Now, there might be people like you, like I think I see you as like someone who is different from me of like, you can be on social media for like an hour and just get back straight into working on stuff. I'm like, dang, you're like so cool. For me, I'm like, bro, I can't do that. Like I will get sucked in and then afterward, like my mind is so tired. I feel unproductive. Like I feel so just drained. when social media kind of comes off as like a time where you can just like distract yourself, and it's not even it's just crazy. That's like that. But for me, I'm like, yeah, like I feel like I was that person that was in bondage to social media, even though I didn't know it. That's the weird thing, is like you don't know that you are until you realize like actually there's just a couple of things that is not matching up. Like, why do I feel so tired? Why am I not unproductive? Why do I only keep the ideas that I want to do as just ideas rather than taking action and just doing it, you know? And so like I felt like if I was still with the same, just like being able to have the freedom to do whatever I wanted on social media in terms of like having it on my phone and being able to scroll and having that freedom, I don't think we'd ever do this podcast. I don't think I'd ever be able to post on anything. I feel like it would just,
we would have never took that step.
Exactly. And so it was just a matter of like me personally, I feel like I was the one that was in bondage, kind of enslaved to that social media. So then now I'm like, okay, I don't want to be that. I don't want to be enslaved to this thing on my phone. I don't want to be enslaved to other people's lives dictating how I live mine. Like I want to be in God's eyes, like living the way I feel God's called me to live and do what he's called me to do. And it's easier. This is easier said than done. Like this is like, this is not just like that's the weird thing, is like, this is not just you read this and then it's encouraging and then you're like, yes, this is the verse of my life and I'm just going to like, no, bruh. This is like, you need to, it's like you're struggling every day on what this might mean to you, from one day that you feel good to another day that you feel terrible, yet you still have to keep to that. Die daily. It's like you got to pick up your cross, but that's the beauty of the gray area in this like principle. And so yeah,
one more question real quick.
Yeah, for sure.
So you asked me about with social media, the being relevant and matter. So like, yeah, people, you know, we post on social, maybe you're posting to be relevant, but for us, like you were saying, you want to post things that matter.
Yeah, that hold more weight. That's so good. Yeah, I have that's another tension I feel like I hold, is because, you know, there's times where, but that's where we have to believe in like the Holy Spirit's like leading and like opening up like a specific, just like things, taking care of the things that we can't control. But for me, if I was to sit down with myself, and that's like such a great question, like if I was to sit down with myself and be like, am I going to say what's relevant or what matters? I hope I do something that's relevant to like relate, you know, to be relatable instead of trying to be relevant. I'd rather just be relatable and then still say what matters, because what matters is actually relevant. That's how you stay in the relevance. That's why that statement
Daniel
is
stayed. And what mattered was the Lord.
What mattered was standing on God, standing 10 toes down, just that's like on the foundation. And that's like, okay, he stayed, and time will tell and results show. Like when he stood on God for real, like even when it's hard, even when he's put into the most terrible situations, like his life is on the line and all his people is on the line, like his friends, they stood on God and God came through. And so like I would rather talk about what matters than to just like be wishy-washy and just try to stay with the times or like with the trend. And so with social media, like I think there is a beauty, and like I love that's that tension, is like I love dance, I love like trendy dances, like love like things that are going around, like it there's still a beauty of like seeing somebody and like seeing like outfits or like inspiration of like other people, what they're doing, and then it becomes like a global thing, because yes, there's a thing that resonates with us as people, as humans, that we're like all relatable 100%. We love relating. Yet there's also a thing of like, if I had to choose and both were on the line, I'm gonna do what matters, because what matters is what actually makes the trend relevant. You know what I mean? Like, I don't know.
That's interesting.
Yeah, I don't know. What do you think? I don't know.
Honestly,
like turning the question back to you.
I don't know. It's hard to answer, because I think my answer is going to always stay the same. It's going to be, at the end of the day, like, how does it like all relate to the Lord?
Which is the only thing that matters.
So
not even thing. He's the only
I'm
one that matters.
gonna keep it simple.
Yeah.
But I don't know. I'm trying to like think of a question maybe or something to just like leave everyone with.
I was gonna say, we kind of do. I actually wanted to bring this up. That's perfect. You said that. Can I help? Can I help? Okay. So, every time that we have a pod, so on Spotify, there's like a poll. Oh. And so we do like a poll of like last one was like, I think it was like, what does it look like for you to have truth? It's like a yes or no question. Okay. So it's like one of those, but since those are yes or no questions and we're trying to cultivate conversation is not cultivated by yes or no questions. So we want to ask like a question of like just like more of a self-reflection question, and I think it can just be an easy one is right, like literally the one that we just read, I think is a question is like, you can do anything on social media, right? But for what we would like to leave y'all as a reflection for you, again, because we're all different. Like Jami is in a different space than I am with social media. And there's going to be plenty of other like topics and things that we talk about that is going to be us on mostly on different spectrums, depending on what it is. And for you guys too, like you might have something that you're on the other side of this and like, bruh, I don't agree or I agree. So that's great. That's awesome. That's a conversation that maybe you have with somebody else or, I don't know, whatever that is. I just wanted to like challenge this idea of having like, I feel like our generation doesn't have enough conversation. I feel like we have a lot of opinions and we have a lot of just tolerance to just like take that opinion and be like, yeah, that's what they believe. That's their truth. Speak your truth. Awesome. That is an amazing thing. Yet I also feel like in 100% of that, we also have to hold 100% in that tension of letting the challenge of like, okay, but am I totally right? Like, is what I believe as the person, like, am I 100% right? Or, because if most likely you're not, I'm not 100% right. Jami's not 100% right, but we look to the one who is, for us and in general, the truth is it's Jesus. And so the question that we would like to leave with y'all, I would say is this one, the one we read, is like, you can do anything on social media, but is everything good for you on social media? And I guess, what are you personally, between you yourself and the Lord, or if you're watching this and you don't believe in the Lord, all good, like you and yourself, do you believe that you are in bondage to social media? Yes or no? And why?
That would be the question. Are you in bondage to social media?
Are you in bondage to social media? Are you enslaved to it? And not just be like, nah, or yeah, but why? That's the conversation. Like, what are the things? And even ask somebody that you know. Like, talk. Like Jami points out so many. Like, one of the biggest things I think I needed the disciplines and the boundaries was when you started pointing out things that I'm like, dang, that's not normal. That's pretty bad. I need to do something about this, because you saw stuff in me that I didn't see in myself. And a lot of the time it's like exposed, like God can expose that through people. And so ask somebody like, yo, do you think I'm like obsessed or addicted or in bondage to social media? Like, do you feel like I need it to live, type of thing? And ask somebody and ask them why, and ask yourself. So just starting off, self-reflection, ask somebody, talk about it. And yeah, that's it. I don't know. Is that a good question, or should we leave with another one?
That's perfect.
That's perfect. Okay. All right, y'all. I think that's it.
Yeah.
This is the pod, man.
Yeah, I'm excited.
Sheesh. Episode 4 with the 4-piece. Okay. That's 4. But hey, okay. Ooh, the hook. That was like a 10-piece. Whoever's on the other side of that. To be honest,
there was 2 punches that were pretty bad. I was like this.
Jami got hands. No. But y'all, again, thank y'all for tuning in to YAPpin. Guys. We love you guys, and
answer the question.
Yeah, really do it. We challenge y'all. Okay. We'll see y'all. See y'all next month. God bless. Peace. Love y'all.